One of the most important parts of a movie is the villain, and Kung Fu Panda 4 did a great job at making the worst villain ever. But what I've rewrote is probably one of the best written villain origin stories of all time. It's beautiful and will bring even the most thick-skinned viewers to tears. But first, let me explain why how they wrote her is
the biggest piece of dog.
So just take a look at the other Kung Fu Panda villains. Tai Lung, Shifu promised him he would become the Dragon Warrior, and he spent every day training with total dedication for it, but was lied to and rejected, so that's why he became power-hungry and evil. Lord Shen, his parents abandoned him at a young age, so that's why he became power-hungry and evil. Kai was betrayed by his best friend whose life he saved, so that's why he became power-hungry and evil. And the Chameleon became power-hungry and evil, well, you know, just cuz. Well, technically they said it's because she wanted to learn Kung Fu, but why is just not being able to learn Kung Fu so important? I mean, couldn't you just do Jiu-Jitsu or Karate, something? Why would something so minor as not being able to learn one skill cause such drastic change to a character? That's lazy writing. Let's fix that. So one night back when the Chameleon was just a wee child, she came back from school after having a rough day. Her parents noticed the sad look on her face and decided to cook her favorite meal. The Chameleon looks at the dinner table and starts smiling while looking at all the delicious food and thanks her parents for being so kind. As the family is about to dig in, bam! The door slams wide open and there are bandits who barge in. That looks delicious. The bandits shove the Chameleon and her family away from the table and start eating all the food. No, we can't let them eat all our food! She tries to stop them, but her father, with a disappointed look, holds her back. When the bandits finish eating all her food, they leave the house. The Chameleon asks her father, "Dad, why didn't we do anything?" Her father responds with, "Look at us, we're just chameleons, what can we do?" "But the Dragon Warriors..." "The Dragon Warrior's a panda, big and strong, he is a fighter, but not us chameleons, we're just not destined to be strong. We just have to accept it and hope they don't come back." Then the Chameleon family keeps getting robbed by bandits day after day, not being able to do anything, and start to starve because they're slowly running out of food. I've only wrote the first part to the backstory. The second one's even better. And this is genius writing already because in the Kung Fu Panda universe, there are just some animals who are born to fight, like Tigress, Viper, Tai Lung, and a bunch more. Meanwhile, most of the side characters who are useless animals like bunnies, geese, and pigs will never be able to fight no matter how much they practice, being literal sitting ducks their whole life, and always just praying nothing bad happens to them, or hoping that the almighty Dragon Warrior or some other master saves them. As fun as this universe looks, it's actually pretty dystopian when you think about it, and drawing attention to it with the Chameleon gives the audience a whole new perspective on the series, still keeping its originality and freshness even though it was supposed to be over and got greedily extended. And still following the pattern of genuinely broken villains and not evil people who are just evil for no reason. Not only that, but this also happens in real life. We humans may not be born as different creatures, but there are still things assigned to us at birth that affect our lives that we have no control over. Like some people are naturally more attractive, and some people just naturally ugly. Studies show that attractive people are much more likely to find professional success like jobs, promotions, etc., and just have it easier in a bunch of different areas than ugly people. And the fact that ugly people have no control over how attractive they are born as, yet are massively damaged by it, is the sad truth of the world we live in. And teaching this to kids early on is necessary before they find out the hard way, making this movie more than just a movie, but a message with a genuine moral. But the moral isn't just sucks to suck, there's an actual solution to this problem, which leads me to the second part of the Chameleon's backstory. So after she constantly gets robbed, she wants to learn Kung Fu to protect herself and her family from the bandits, but gets rejected from all the dojos over and over and over again because of the same reason I've mentioned. And all the masters laugh at her because she's just a chameleon. Hey look, this chameleon wants to learn Kung Fu! She feels defeated and hopeless, but just when all hope is lost, she finds another way, sorcery. She learns it and becomes very good at it, and very powerful, and eventually does magic-y stuff and beats the bandits. Her parents have changed their minds and are very proud of her, and everyone lives happily ever after. Where's the fun in that? Because after she discovered great power, well, you remember what happened to Kai? Let me continue. So even though her family had just become safe, they still needed more food because most of it had been stolen. It would take quite a while and a lot of effort to make it back honestly, so instead, the Chameleon has another idea. She is going to become the bandit and rob all the masters and kung fu dojos that rejected her. Because the newfound great power got to her head just like Kai, and also the fact that she was constantly ridiculed and robbed. Once again connecting to real life, because studies show that children who are shown empathy usually grow to be empathetic themselves, and children who get ridiculed, abused, and bullied usually become bullies themselves, just like all the anti-heroes you see. It's also important to teach kids that good people aren't just good and bad people aren't just bad, but there are reasons as to why good people are good and reasons as to why bad people are bad. The world is in black and white. And it also gives a new meaning to her name, the Chameleon, because as well as transforming and changing literally on the outside, she also changes mentally on the inside from good to bad, and spoiler alert for the rest of the story, back to good again and bad again and good again. You get the idea. This would make the Chameleon name and character design have a deep artistic metaphorical meaning. Wait a minute, what about her parents, I hear you say? Well, funny story about that. So continuing the story, her first target to rob is the first dojo that rejected her. Hey, what are you doing here? Didn't I already tell you that you'll never be good enough, you chameleon? Get lost! There would now be a cool action scene where she single-handedly fights and defeats all the masters in the dojo who used to laugh at her. It would be satisfying to see those a-holes get a butt-whooping by the very person they bullied. Like it's a Darman video. Kung Fu masters bully a chameleon who's secretly a sorceress. What happens next is shocking. It would also fit the theme of the other Kung Fu Panda movies. In all of them, the villain usually has a cool action-packed introduction to show the audience their deadly capabilities and to show them what the hero is up against, like how Tai Lung escaped from Jargon Prison with 1,000 guards and only one prisoner, how Lord Shen defeated Masters Ox and Croc, and how Kai defeated the legend himself, Master Oogway. The Chameleon continues robbing many other dojos during the nighttime so her parents won't know, but one night she slips up and her parents find out. Her parents are in shock and are extremely disappointed in her. They try to convince her to quit and give back everything she stole, but she obviously refuses because of how everyone treated her and the fact that she finally has found a way to have strength after a long time of being weak. There's no way she would give the money back. Who would? So unfortunately, her parents leave the village because of how ashamed and frightened they have become of their own daughter. This, of course, was the last straw for the Chameleon. She's no longer the petty thief. She's become the tyrannical ruler and conqueror we see in the movie, because her parents being there to keep her morals in check can no longer happen. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the most artistic part of the rewrite, the Chameleon's villain arc is a combination of all previous Kung Fu Panda villains. Tai Lung had dreams of becoming the Dragon Warrior, but he just wasn't destined for it. Like how Chameleon had dreams of learning Kung Fu but wasn't destined for it because she's just a chameleon. Lord Shen became morally corrupt and his parents abandoned him, just like the Chameleon. Kai found great power, but it made him greedy and evil just like the Chameleon. The fact that she has a little bit of every villain in her extremely amplifies the metaphorical meaning of her name, the Chameleon, and gives off a whole new feeling when we see her turn into different villains. This masterpiece is what they took from us. That is why I made this channel, to bring back true art to storytelling we see ruined by greed and politics. If you want to see me rewrite another character, click on one of the videos you see, and subscribe if you think I should write Kung Fu Panda 5.